Yo, what's going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to a brand new Locals feature match. This is the only Locals feature match that I ended up recording. This match I talked about in brief detail in One Deck 1 Month, so now you guys get to see it play out in full detail. This was a very, very rough match, game 1 especially. As you can see, my opening hand is all defensive cards and no engine. Same thing happened to me round 1 of the tournament in game 1, but I was actually still able to win, luckily, because the hand traps that I saw actually, came up against the deck that I was playing against. Here I have Mourner, Ogre, DD Crow, and Double Talons, and my opponent has the Desires. I don't even have the Ash for it. Very, very unfortunate all around. So one downside about playing like upwards of 14, 15 hand traps, right, is, you get to the point where you start to have hands like these just like seemingly a little too often. We're going to see Mo Yi go ahead and get summoned off of the Ecclesia. Be Chain Link when Mo Yi chains you Mourner. He does have the Heavenly Dragon Circle. And once I see him reveal the Shithana, I'm like, alright, might as well just go ahead and use Mourner now. My opponent will lose. Well, he won't lose the 18 because the target left the field. So yeah, I have DD Crow and Ogre, which I was debating on hitting the Mo Yi with an Ogre, but he already had Shithana in hand, so that didn't make any sense to me to do that. So yeah, I just didn't bother going for it. So you will go ahead and get to add a Long Yun off of the Heavenly Dragon Circle. The token will still summon, and still in a really, really solid position here, no matter really what I do, hand trap wise. So we're gonna see him go ahead and special summon the Shithana and synchro off with the token and the Shithana into a copy of Chi Zhao. And of course, Chi Zhao effect is going to go ahead and activate here to search. None of the hand traps I have really interact super well with Chi Zhao here. I was like, I could Ghost Ogre. It'll clear an interruption off the field on my turn, and that's what I go ahead and do. Because I really just don't think I'm going to get an opportunity to Ogre later on. I guess if I was expecting a Baron, right? I could, Ogre the Baron when it negates to clear the body, but Baron's only a once while face up negate anyways, so once you negate something, getting rid of the body isn't doing a whole lot, right? Because it's already used its negate. But Chi Zhao is a little bit different, obviously. It's a reoccurring negate every turn. So I feel like if I can get it off the field, it's kind of an extender for him in some sense, being able to banish like a Mo Yi during my turn to, possibly add it back with a Hara next turn, right? So I feel like the Ogre there wasn't so terrible. And then he's going to go ahead and summon the Long Yun. And Long Yun will go ahead and synchro with the token into, I think, well, he's not worm locked here, so I think he might go for Baron. Or he might go for Chi Xing. I think it's Chi Xing here, yeah. And I'm like, all right, well, if he goes for Chi Xing or Baron, I feel like is equally as impactful here. I feel like maybe you could argue you get more value out of the Chi Xing because it can banish Battle Oceans, Dives, Waves, etc., which is pretty high impact. And it can also clear bodies off the field, which is also really high impact too. So we're going to see him swinging for 29 and go ahead and pass turn. Then I draw Blue Tang for turn. Yeah, about time. A little turn too late here. So got to go ahead and try to navigate through the board here of at least, one known interruption, 2 known interruptions, right? And they're kind of impactful. One card that does 2 things. So we're going to go ahead and normal summon the Blue Tang here. Attempt to send. And, the go-to send targets most of the time. I mean, right now I technically have no, no extenders in hand. So I could do, the Sleepy Maiden play. But, that's just, not going to work right now. I need to be able to have more lines that play through these interruptions. And you could also deduce that there's probably an imperm or something in the back line right now. So Blue Tang is going to go ahead and send Spring Girl here. I don't send Seahorse because I'm trying to play around him just banishing the Blue Slug. Because if I commit to sending Seahorse and he banishes the Blue Slug and he sees that, then the Seahorse is going to come back to my hand and it's not going to be able to be summoned because we don't have a zone. So we go ahead and grab the more neutral scenario type Marincess card here, which is going to be the Spring Girl. So no matter what happens to the Blue Slug, if he banishes it, I can still summon it by banishing the Blue Tang, and that can get Sea Angel, we can get Dive, which allows me to keep going. We do find a seahorse here, so I guess it all kind of works out. So we get like 2 cards back to our hand here. And feeling like okay. So we're going to go ahead and summon out the seahorse now. It doesn't banish that. I'm like, alright, that's fine. Because he already knows I have another extender in hand. We're going to link that into Sea Angel. And we're going to activate Sea Angel effect here. And this is where we're going to basically see if he has any hand traps, anything in the back line to go and force this out. Because most people usually burn their interruptions on the Sea Angel, which is, I feel like, genuinely correct most of the time. And if I already have like a dive or a battle ocean, then it was just unlucky for you. And I think my opponent's just kind of asking like specifics about dive and battle ocean here, you know, to kind of see whether he probably wants to interrupt this or not. And I'm also just waiting for the Qixing to happen. Waiting for it, because these talents are burning a hole in my hand. And the take can kind of go in here too. And this is one of the reasons why I do think if you're going to play talents, you should play Area of the Water Charmer, because like gives you the full flexibility of the card, unless you're playing against a water deck like a mirror match or something. Gives you the full flexibility to be able to take something and then do something with a card instead of giving it back to them at the end phase. So I summon out the Spring Girl here, banishing the Seahorse. I do this a little early here. I can't remember the exact reason, but we're going to go ahead and do the Spring Girl a little bit early. And then we're going to go for a Link 2 here. I go for Splash Mage because I don't want to like commit Anemone to the field. And at this point, I'm like, all right, he's got to use his Banish here. I mean, he technically doesn't have to, but you know, I could bring back the Blue Tang and attempt to make a rank 4 play there, which would definitely force out the Qixing. And then Talents kind of goes in. But he does have Imperm, right? Imperm's the Sea Angel. And then he finally uses the Banish on the Splash Mage. And now we have Talents, making sure I don't use it in the Imperm column. Can finally use this. And thought long and hard about what to do here. I'm like, if I draw, the only card that I could really draw into that helps me here is Dive or Desires to draw into Dives. That's like 4 cards in my deck right now. I'm not banking on that. I'd rather just take the Qixing and use it for Link fodder. He just chained to Banish, obviously. Puts me down to 4,400. We're going to go for Link 2 of Iria, the Water Charmer Gentle. And he does have Moe, and he does have Shathana in Great, which is like kind of clutch here, actually. Kind of clutch. And at this point, this is where I make a huge misplay, which I honestly didn't, like, huge in air quotes, but like, I didn't realize that this is the point. I was so tunnel visioned and thinking that from here, once I take the Shathana, that I can only go to a Link 3. And I'm like, if I only go to a Link 3, what do I go for? You know, like Marbled Rock? Because, you know, going for Triumph doesn't make any sense if I don't have a water in hand to discard. But I didn't realize the fact that I could have just linked for Anemone to revive something, go for Triangle, add back, discard, search Wave, and that at least gets me a little bit farther ahead. Or go for Anemone, then into Marbled Rock, get 2 cards back, right? I just didn't see that line. I guess I definitely didn't think about Anemone at the fact. I at this point when I was playing, I did think about going for Marble Rock. I'm like, if I'm going to go for Marble Rock, I might as well just leave the Eerie on field. If he clears it, I get a free card, right, out of it. But I guess, like, going for Anemone into Marble Rock gives me 2 free cards, I guess, technically. I honestly don't think it really would have mattered totally. Because, like, he has 10E cards, which are just insane. I do have to DD Crow the Ashina there, and just, like, DD Crow is just so bad here. It's just in the main deck, right? Because like going for like tier and stuff, and like even against Sprite, very decent card. Not bad against Despia too, right? But yeah, so he's gonna go ahead and use the Dragon Circle, which like maybe in hindsight I should have like, I should just let the Ashina resolve and just wait for like the Vashuda. But once I see the Ecclesia come down, like that's just game over right there. So yeah, maybe if I would have gone for like the Triangle route, you know. And, like, if he ever puts Vashuda in Grave, which he probably could just add it to hand, and then at that point I can't crow it, so I think I was losing either way. Unfortunate opening hand. What happens when, like, you don't, like, draw a starter, right? Pretty rough. So, game 2, quick shout out to Imperium Duelist, guys. Check them out the link below. Don't forget to use my discount code, WinnerKills10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order. And, if you guys are buying anything on TCG Player, don't forget to use my affiliate link to their site down below. Also, Imperium just came out with new, like, Tier Limits themed oversleeves and Sprite themed oversleeves. You guys should definitely go pick some of those up. They went live at 9. I didn't even know they were coming out. Like, I had no idea. I would have told you guys in advance, but I had no idea. Yeah, so if they're still available for sale and you want to pre-order the tier ones or buy some Sprite oversleeves, like they're like the like double sleeving art sleeves, like the ones that are in my extract right now, just with a different design. Check them out. So we start by normal summoning Spring Girl, going for the Blue Slug here, and then adding back. Here I was trying to like play around DD Crow too, if I could help it, by not going like normal Seahorse, and then linking a Slug, trying to add back Seahorse, and then it leaves me with nothing to summon the Spring Girl with. I summon the Anemone here. My opponent does have the Nibiru, which is really, really, really strong. I still have Spring Girl here to be able to keep going, and I have Desires. But like at this point, the Spring Girl is only gonna help me so much, like to be able to get into something. Yeah, and I'd already used the Seahorse in hand. I go for Desires, attempt to draw on some new cards. He does have the Ash for it, so Ash Nib, I mean, pretty strong combo. Banished Wave, Banished Sleepy Maiden, and also very, very high impact there. You know, not for me, but for him. And then I do have the Spring Girl. I'm like, I can go ahead and summon the Spring Girl, and then like make Iria and just sit on that. I think that's what I end up doing. I think that's just better than leaving a token on field. I feel like that's just genuinely better than leaving a token on field. I wish Iria had a way to like summon a water out of your grave or your opponent's grave. Card would be crazy if that was the case. Set the Imperm, and then we just go ahead and pass turn there because there's really nothing else I can do. I have Imperm in hand. Or not in hand, I actually set the Imperm this time. I have Imperm Veiler, and he knows I have Seahorse in hand. So he knows I have Seahorse plus an Unknown, one set. He normal summons Mo-Yi, and he reveals the Ashina. I'm like, go Imperm. I'm like, there's no way he has the One of Circle again. There's literally no way, but yeah, you guys saw it. He does have the One of Circle again. And that was rough. That was rough to see that it had 2 Circle. Or, well, not 2 Circle, but had Circle a second time. And in hand, I think he has Long Yun as well. So, the opening hand was, like, really, really strong for him. And that goes through, obviously. Gets token. And then he has the Long Yun. Even if I do, like, even if the Imperm does successfully go through on the Mo-Yi, right? He gets, still gets Long Yun, summon token. And then from there, he can go for, like, you know, Chi Zhao still. Like, banish Blackout from deck. And then get to Baron still, which is like really, really good. Like still really, really good for not even needing to use the circle. And yeah, from there he's just gonna go ahead and summon out the Shadana off the Ashina, and then Synchro 8 into looking at going for a Boxia here. I think he ends up just going for Chi Zhao. And Chi Zhao effect to go ahead and search. I was like, I could Veiler this, but I think if I Veiler the Chi Zhao, I just super lose, like Omega lose more than I'm already going to lose. Because I was just waiting for it to Veiler like the Baron pop, but, and then think maybe like he won't negate it, and then I live a turn. I have to play through 1 interruption. Well, 2 interruptions if he doesn't negate the Veiler on the Baron pop. So it'd be 2 interruptions with like 1 known card in hand, which he knows is Seahorse, and at that point I'm top decking basically. So he goes ahead and adds Taya off the Chi Zhao for follow-up. I go Chain Veiler on the Baron pop, and I think he was like hesitant to negate here with the Baron or not, because I think he was afraid of Nibiru, but he knew the last card in my hand, and once he figured that out, he was like, oh yeah, I know the last card in hand, you know, it's Seahorse, and then he just goes ahead and negates with the Baron. And pops the Iria. I'm like, Iria effect. And this is where I was like, you know, maybe I had a cool, like, hand trap like card to search off of it. But there's really nothing that can be done there anyways. So, yeah, that's going to do it. I get bodied here 2-0 against Swordsoul. And, yeah, last but not least, a huge shout out goes to our Divine Level channel members who are tweeters 0226, Pony Stark, Cadillacs84, Justin Lamb, H8 Cyber, and Mango. Thank you guys so much as always for showing me kind and generous support of the channel.